Hey!
Rick! Oh, how you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's Sunday.
Yeah, it's Sunday. Yeah, let's get to it. Welcome to another edition of Comics Cast Let It Out with Rick over there and Gerald. I want to welcome all to
You'll never learn.
Yes, it's May 9th. It's another beautiful Sunday, and it's a special Sunday because it's Mother's Day. And I want to thank anybody who's out there who's taking some time to be with us on the show. I want to thank their mothers for allowing you to do that. And I want to thank my mom. Rick, I'm sure you want to thank your mom. No. It's just, you don't? Okay, no. All right. We'll leave it at that. But Comics Cast, let it out. Let's get back to that. Comics Cast is all about promoting independent creators. And whether they be writers, inkers, pencilers, publishers, you name it, if they're in the indie comics medium, we want you on the show. We want to promote you. We want to get eyes on your IPs and your OCs, so that way you guys can compete with the big boys. And we don't even have to mention those big boys, but that's what Comics Cast is about. Comics Cast Let It Out is about putting, I guess, a more intimate portrait of those creators. We wanted them on the show so we can interview them, a conversational type interview, and also draw along with them so that our audience can draw along with them too. We can learn more about their process. We get to see the magic behind seeing one or two of their original creations or their original characters come from a clean, blank white sheet of paper or digital canvas, and you get to see that come materialize before your eyes. So that's what Let It Out is all about. Hey, Molly, how you doing? And I guess this is where we do a little bit of our little shameless self-promotion. Rick is brilliant. Oh, look, he is on the ball today. Look at him. He already has our banner. You can find us on Facebook at Comics Cast, but you can find us at Indie Comics Cast on YouTube, and that's INDIE Comics Cast on YouTube. And you can see there that we have a plethora. I think that's the word that we like to use, the plethora of videos. That's
the word you decided you like to use.
Don't hide your feelings there, Rick. I know you use plethora in everyday language. Plethora is probably your favorite.
Danish. We don't have the word plethora in Danish.
Oh, it's good. You beat me to it. I thought, well, what is the Danish equivalent to plethora? But we'll save that for another show. You can tell us all about that. Oh, was that again?
No, I'm not saying it again.
Okay, you're not saying it. Okay. All right. So Rick is mousing over how you can subscribe to our Indie Comics Cast page on YouTube. Make sure you click the bell because we want it. That way you can get notifications of when we have new videos going live. Especially. Hey, Sarah, how you doing? Especially when we have super uber talented guests like we do today. So let's close this screen out.
I'm so excited for these guys. You promoted them to me like they were the second coming. So I'm happy. I'm looking forward. I've seen the art. You guys got a lot to look forward to.
Oh, hey, Sebastian. Sebastian is from the Nerds of the Round. I'm glad that he can join us. And right now I'm going to do the drum roll, and we're going to get our creators in for today. So here we go. Drum roll. Oh, we got George and Vinz. Hey.
No, that's the one-time joke I'm gonna do, George. I promise.
Oh yeah, I think it's George Michail, not George Michael. I just want to make sure that Rick heard George Michael was going to be on the show, and he said, "Wow, he's come back from heaven to be on the show." so gotta make sure it's George Michail, and we got the one and only also Vinz L Tab, who's we're actually getting a little bit of a Canadian flavor here. Both of you guys hail from Canada and bringing that talent pool into the independent comic community. And I want to welcome you both. So say hi to everybody, George and Vinz.
Hey guys, thanks for having us.
How are you?
All right. So I was bragging to Rick. I am so happy to have you guys on the show. It's been a little bit of I guess, a month or two in the making. I talked to George some time ago, and it was sort of like figuring out what that perfect day is. And we finally got a day that coincides with a Kickstarter that you have going on right now. And this Kickstarter, not only are we going to talk about the phenomenal writing and the art that goes behind their book, Resilient, but I want to, this is also a really good lesson, I think, or a good a good case study for our audience to pay attention to what George is doing with his Kickstarter. It's not a typical 30-day campaign. It's only 10 days. And I think Rick, when I was talking to Rick about it, he said, man, that's ballsy. 10 days? So
I literally said that takes some balls to be like, I'll probably get funded in 10 days. No biggie.
Oh yeah, listen to Rick. Rick, who's done plenty of Kickstarters in the past. But anyway, we're gonna learn a little bit about George's mentality in terms of why he wants to do the 10-day 10-day campaign. And he's also doing it. It's in conjunction. It's parallel to a Diamond Previews release too. So George is a mastermind. He's a man with a plan, and he has a phenomenal talent that's back in his book, which is Vinz. We're gonna see some of that art as well. So let's move right along.
To apologize to George because I apparently started something here in the comments.
Yes, I see that.
Yeah. So I saw you react to it, but I just have to apologize. That's on me.
Yeah, that's definitely on him. I think we're going to see a bunch of funny. I think everybody's going to look for comments that have to pull lyrics from George Michael songs to address to you guys. So that's going to be kind of funny. But anyway, let's get to the meat and potatoes of the show, which is featuring you guys. And this is what we call the elevator pitch part of the show. And this is where I hand the mic over to you guys, and you get to toot your own horn. You get to sing about yourself from the tops of the mountains and tell us exactly who you are, where you've been, what you're doing, up to right where you guys came together, because we want to get to that resilient story. So here we are in the elevator pitch. You have more than one floor to talk about yourself, but I just want to let you know if we had to go to the top of the Sears Tower, or I don't even know if they call it the Sears Tower. Let's say the Empire State Building. So you can talk as long as you want. We just want to hear your story.
Gerald,
yes.
Let them speak.
Yes, I think apparently I had too much coffee, but this is what we want to do. The mic is now in your hands. George, you tell us about yourself. Here we go.
Sure. So I've always loved comic books ever since I was a little kid. I remember, collecting the Marvel Comics trading cards, and playing hockey games here in Canada, where you have to stick them up on the wall and you shoot them at each other to try and knock them down. If you knock them down, then you got all the cards. Just kind of wrecked them all, really. But I love comics. X-Men the animated series, the Batman animated series. I spent my days at the kitchen table working on my drawings, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way by John Buscema. I just wore that book out, practicing all the time. And then as I got a little bit older and I went to high school, I stopped practicing my art, and I got distracted by girls. Not that I really had any girlfriends or anything like that, but they distracted me. And as I still got older, I got really nervous about trying to put myself out there in a creative fashion, and I didn't know how to go about it either. It didn't seem like there was a place where you just send in a resume that you would realistically get hired. So I just kind of denied the kind of creative impulse. And at about 35, after being through some pretty bad accidents, I decided, car accidents, I decided, I'm just gonna go for it. And I started working on my scripts. I spent 6 months working on my first script, refining it and doing draft after draft. And then I sat down to draw it, and I hadn't drawn in 20 years. And I was like, oh no, I need some professional help with this. My skills are not where they needed to be. So that was about 3.5 years ago. And ever since, I've been making comics and putting them out there. I was doing a lot of conventions in 2019. And this is my first published book to be released by a publisher, Absolute Comics Group. So I'm over the moon to have my book coming out into stores and to be partnered here with Vinz Tabanis.
Yeah, that is a great story. And just want to let everybody know is that George, when he jumped into making comics or writing comics, he went right in. He said, he came to that epiphany. Is you know what? I'm going to do this full time. So I want to give him tremendous props, because he is, for the love of the craft, he decided to go all in. And that is tremendous respect in that, just knowing that you want to make that sacrifice. But here we have, this is the lead character, Jolanda from Resilient. And I'm going to we're going to revisit some of these things because some of these are exclusive covers that are to the Kickstarter campaign, and he attracted some really great artists to draw these. But let's talk to the artist here on the show, the real artist, because I'm only a fake artist. I can't hold a candle to Vinz. Vinz, welcome. This is your opportunity to talk about, do your elevator pitch. So I'm going to show some of your art. Prepare to be blown away, audience. Check this out. Vinz, the mic is in your hands now. Tell us about yourself.
I'm Vinz, and I'm a French artist living at Montreal, Canada. And for work, sorry, I'm nervous, but my principal job is for video game, for behavior interactive. I work on Dead by Daylight as a concept artist and 2D animation for it's a little animatics or cinematics 2D for Dead by Daylight. And in the same time, I'm cover artist for Zinescope, comic book artist for George, and I make a lot of work in freelance after my job.
Yeah, that is. I don't know if everybody heard that, but Vinz, as well as doing comic work, he does animation. He does work for video games. And for me, I was looking at this. This looks like this could have been official art for the Alien franchise. It is so good. I mean, this looks like a still that could have been ripped out of like Alien. Was it Covenant? Or was it?
Alien Isolation is a game.
Yeah, it is. But I was just saying that his attention to color and composition.
It's for Upper Deck. This one, it's a promo card for a board game, Alien Bug Hunt.
Okay.
Board game.
It's a board. Yeah,
it's a board game. I do this in my free time.
Yeah, and that's what I think that is so such a shame is that I see so much really good like card art, and it's a shame to see this art put so much in, and it's like this tiny. It's like so. I'm glad that we can share this and just Google at the how great this looks when it's blown up. But you can tell that Vinz has done a lot of artwork for like a lot of different games. I mean, this is funny. This is like Mars Attacks Endgame. This is kind of a funny thing about like it's like Mars Attacks the MCU. Just funny. I like how you put Domino.
Thank you for explaining that to us, Daryl, because this amazing art didn't tell the story itself. Thank you, Daryl. We really needed that explanation.
Yes, I know.
This is for the Free Comic Book Day France. They organize every year a little sketchbook, and I draw a little illustration for him.
Nice.
Every year, it's free. It's for the people. I like draw something like this with too much fun and too much.
Well, you have to have fun. You have to have fun when you create, and it's easy to see you do have a very creative mind when it comes to making up stuff like this. So you have to have fun. I don't think any of us would do this if we didn't have fun doing it. After all.
And I think that it's funny is that when Vinz says, I did this little thing for this little sketchbook, and I'm like, gosh, I want to go get that sketchbook. It's like, this is his idea of a little thing. It's just incredible. Here we have the Alien Queen, another, I'm assuming this is also from that board game or card game.
Speaking of Mother's Day.
Exactly. That's the ultimate alien mother. So that's very, very cool. Good catch, Rick. That was. I don't know if you guys.
You have the game.
There it is. Aliens Bug Hunt.
Offer me this one. It's my draw. It's
Oh yeah, we want that. Show that, because I think everybody's gonna have to scour eBay to find that limited edition box game if it's not available to get right away. But we have also artwork from Stranger Things, the Demogorgon, and
there's also in Dead by Deadlight.
Yeah,
Rick,
it's
you caught that.
Banner store for the Dead.
I played the game, Gerald. I do my research.
Oh, okay. So Vinz did. He's a lead concept artist on Dead by Daylight.
No lead concept artist, just a concept artist.
Oh, just a concept artist. Yeah. Okay.
You're so modest.
It's a big team. We are over 100, I think, in the team.
Oh, okay.
It's a big company. And
so
Vinz
and I met through Instagram. Actually, he was posting art like this, and I was following him, and I was like, "Wow, this guy's incredible! I got to get him. Got to get him on my book." And so I just reached out to him, just kind of cold called him, and yeah, we've been rolling on it for about 2 years now.
Oh, that's the story. You guys met through Instagram. I knew it was through some social media, but that just goes to show you that you can find, if you have the will and the desire, you have a great story, which George has crafted. He recognized some talent and reached out to Vinz through Instagram. And I'm just going to keep on going through this art real quick. Here we have, I think that Vinz has a very unique sense of humor. I think this was titled "Ugly Sweater." I think was, and it was this. That's a horror.
Which one of the sweaters are the ugly one?
Exactly. And it's definitely a horrific, but it still has a little bit of a sense of humor in there too. So I thought that was pretty brilliant.
It's not fun for the survivor in Dead by Daylight. Big killer and too many bloods. Right.
So be careful when you wear that ugly sweater, because there might be a killer that's coming after you for wearing it. So here we go. Some more art. When I looked at this, at first I thought it was like a sexy version of the It character from Stephen King, but it's
for Cinescope Entertainment.
Yeah.
It's for cover, I think, or for pinup book. I don't remember.
And we see like this recurring theme. I like this. It's like you have this nice look that you put to all of your. I mean, I just look at the colors, the composition, the atmospheric effects. Vinz brings it all to the table when he shows his art. And we have this. Speaking of just the atmospheric effects, I mean, you can almost smell and feel like the cold grip of this mummy character here. Just really cool. What is the story behind this one?
No, it's a killer from Dead by Daylight. It's the plague. It's a killer on Dead by Daylight. It's just, I think it's a banner store for the gold skin of this killer. And she killed really sadly.
It's the sound effects that take it to the next level. And then we have this. This is this is a title called Sisterhood. This is another book that you did. You want to talk a little bit about this?
It's a comics I have made 32 page in 2020 for this book, and it's a friend. He write the script for it, and just follow Richard Boone. It's my friend, and he take a Kickstarter the last year, and it's already fantastic opportunity for me to draw this beautiful character.
Yeah, definitely.
And she fight a Nazi wolf. It's incredible story. And I was in confinement for it. And I have too many time to draw all the.
You're on quarantine, so You had so much free time.
Yeah.
That's such a cool looking monster book, too.
Yeah, he has a total knack for drawing like this monsters. Speaking of monsters, here's another excellent piece. And look at this. I mean, also set like in a mummy in Egypt. And you look at this, the serpent, just crazy, crazy great art. I mean, I just can't put into words just how cool that he's able to do these compositions and top it off with these excellent colors. And here we have also some original character art, which Vinz was able to share with me. This is still an idea that's I found out that's sort of like toying around in his mind. There's not a real solid story about this, but I'll have to say that during the pre-show with George, this might be a little bit of an announcement we can kind of talk about. It's sort of like been kind of like
we were just spitballing, dude.
It is spitballing, but it could be. I'm gonna just sort of like say, don't be surprised if we see another collaboration outside of Resilient, or maybe within Resilient, you know, in terms of seeing these characters. But these are just really, really cool things. Two original characters that came out of Vinz's mind. And, you know, here we are. We're talking about the two of you. George already talked about how he reached out to him on Instagram. I'm going to show some additional Resilient art, which features the lead character, Jolanda. And we'll basically sort of just talk a little bit about it before we get into the live drawing. And that's where I think George will fill in more about the backstory of Resilient Jolanda, and you know, and that'll give us an opportunity for Vinz and I to kind of interpret it and learn more about it. So here we go. We have, this is kind of like showing maybe a character evolution.
Yeah, exactly. I love this composition that Vinz put together here. So you see like the 3 stages of our character. So in the top left there is kind of when you're first introduced to her. Her name's Jolanda, and she's a judo teacher. She's married, and her and her husband are trying to have a baby, and they're having a hard time trying to conceive. And he has kind of a sordid military past, her husband, and they go to Cambodia to do a demining expedition, and there's a tragic accident, and she loses her arms, which you see there at the bottom. And so she loses her arms, and then through an interesting turn of events, she ends up with these pink cybernetic mecha arms. She's like an unstoppable force with these like arms, and she's got the knowledge to back them up too, right? And her husband's kind of sordid past catches up with him, and she's got to go rescue her man.
I mean, that's just a really, it's, you know, we talk about strong female protagonists and good characters. And you just mentioned, you know, putting a human face on the characters. You know, they can be vulnerable and still powerful at the same time. And I'm looking forward to like talking more about that when we get into the live drawing part of it. But you can see up here in the upper right hand corner, this is her husband, and you can see like what a metamorphosis she's gone through. And I just like how you're telling a story. It is a more adult themed comic. I just want to put that out there too. It's not for young eyes, but it talks about. I think that's one of the things that you're bringing to the table with this character is that they have challenges, real world challenges. You know, you talk about, well, you know, aside from if you know anybody who's been an amputee or has had family issues where, you know, trouble conceiving, things like that, you know, this is bringing a human element to it. So it's not all, everything is bright and rosy in a superhero world. I love the real grittiness that you bring to this character and the story. And it's reflected in the art. So here we are. This is the Jolanda base. And this is basically where she was prior to the accident. And this is where she is now in the story, the current storyline. I'm going to hand the interview duties to, because, you know, Rick loves duties. He's gonna take over the
phrasing, Gerald.
He loves it so much. But anyway, and he loves it even more when I don't talk. So I think this is where he loves the part of the show where he gets to take over the mic. And Vinz, let's. I want everybody to check this out in terms of our audience, because our show is also about having audience participation. We want you to ask questions of our guests. If you have something that you want to ask them about, put it in the comments field, and Rick will be like eagle eye. He'll check that out. He'll pop it up on the screen. We'll recite it back to our guests so you can interact with them. And on another level, we want you to interact by if you feel compelled to it, look at this tremendous art. We want you to draw along with us. This will give you a good opportunity to be like some of the first fan arts that these creators get to see. And who knows? Maybe they can. You can be in a future issue of Resilient. We'll see how that goes. So please try and draw along with us. So I'm gonna hook up my art cam right now. Rick, the duties are in your hands now. so that sounds
nice.
so bad.
Nice.
So let me get
your phrasing is on point today.
It is on point. I'll give me about give me a few minutes to get my art cam.
Can you just gave up the mic over to me, Gerald, so let me talk. So I just want to ask you, George, first of all, now seeing you've gotten back into college, comics and all that, does that mean you're not interested in girls anymore?
Oh no, I'm married. I've got a very patient wife. Actually, it's Mother's Day, and
that's why
she's allowing me to do this today. Actually, the main character of the book is named after my wife. My wife's name is Jolanda. Yeah, just offhandedly, I was writing a bunch of books, and I was kind of putting people's names as side characters or bosses or different or villains. And she's like, why didn't you ever name anyone after me? So I named her like the main character in this series.
Well, you had to. I mean, if you like your marriage, you got your happy marriage, you got to, right?
Yeah, and it just happened. This book is the one that broke out first, so that's pretty cool.
That's good. Well, so Said asked a good question to start it all up with. I like these commenters; they do the work for me, really. How did you guys come up with the story? Because from what I can tell and what Yael told me beforehand, it's there's really a sort of deepness into it with emotion and.
Sure. Yeah, I wanted to tell a story about someone getting knocked down and getting back up again. I broke my back in 2014. I was in a really serious car accident. I had heart surgery when I was 15 years old. It's called pericarditis. It's like an inflammation of the heart, the sac around the heart, and it puts too much pressure on the heart. I felt like I had an elephant sitting on my chest. I went to the doctors 3 different times, and no one could diagnose what was going on with me. And finally, one night, middle of the night, I banged on my parents' doors. I didn't feel right, and I walked up to the kitchen, and I fainted right there on the floor. And I woke up to them shaking me and slapping me, and I got rushed to the hospital. I was living in Vancouver Island at the time, and they actually flew me by helicopter to Vancouver Children's Hospital, and Dr. Humanet was the name of the doctor that drained the fluid from around my heart, and because of pericarditis, they're not really sure how you get this virus. I was actually put into isolation and like a quarantine sort of thing, where I was alone for a few weeks there, and I was scheduled to have like the big a rib spreader surgery where they remove the sac from around the heart. And I went in to have that surgery, and they did an echocardiogram and said, no, you don't need it. But so luckily, because that's a pretty major surgery that I was looking at having.
Yeah, sure.
So I was just 15 years old, and those that kind of feeling of helplessness of being just unable to get out of bed and things like that really stuck with me for 20 plus years. And I wanted to tell a story about someone being injured and their way back to regular life. At the same time, I don't really like slow moving dramas about people getting injured and them slowly getting better, and there's like that montage of them like learning to walk again and these sorts of things. That's not really my jam. I'm kind of a simple man. I like car chases. I like kung fu movies. I like blood.
You're more 80s action hero kind of guy.
Yeah, exactly, dude. That's my jam right there. So I wanted to take these two ideas and kind of combine them, right? And that way, when the carnage hits, you're really invested. You're kind of dialed into these characters, and you're rooting for them. So that's kind of the backstory of that. Yeah, it wouldn't have been as visual to give the girl a bionic back. You know what I mean? And she's just like body checking everybody. So I went with the arms. Oh, this is looking cool, guys. This is looking cool. Sorry, I got distracted.
Well, I'm distracted as well, but that's why I let you talk. So that I like you. You make sure that people get invested in the persons before you basically turn their lives to shit and say, "Ha, let's get back from that." And then
Yeah, it's kind of like the Peter Parker style of storytelling, right? Like he's always running late for his dates with Aunt May or Aunt May. That's weird. With Mary Jane, or he's late to Aunt May. That's a whole different spin on that relationship.
In some states it's okay. I've been told.
All right,
that's what kind of Game of Thrones like, right? With the ants and
But yeah. When you first started talking about me, like how you wanted it to all be like have a personal feel and it had that feel of everyday kind of people. It did have that Stan Lee Marvel kind of feel to it, and I'm a huge fan of that.
Yeah, you gotta root them in it. Else, it kind of feels like you're just watching a video game when the action starts to happen, if there's no kind of connection to the characters. And one thing that's different about our story too is that while Jolanda is the lead, it's very much a group effort there with her husband. His name's Colin, and he's an Irish soldier, and they're having a hard time conceiving. They're having money troubles because of all the IVF treatments that they've gone through and things like this. And there's like a real dynamic there between them. And I think you'll feel it as the story goes on. And you really get a sense that these two people are kind of ride or die. Like they'll show up for each other no matter what. So that was important to me to kind of have like a bit of fun banter and some snappiness, and to put some humor into it too, because it is heavy subject matter, but I think
it's also a good story to get out, because these days a lot of people just want the action and not really the sentimental story. And if you're able to mix both in, that equally grabs the viewer, you did a good job, in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to see if you manage to do a good job. But from the sounds of it, at least you have some personal experience with how to come back, how to fight back from a traumatic experience. So you in a way you kind of use your own experience, and the viewers will most likely grab onto that. Okay, this looks like someone that knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, and my wife and I did have some troubles conceiving too. We have a beautiful 8-year-old little girl now, but yeah. So then that was a challenging thing, and that was an interesting thing to write about too, because when I was in the thick of it, is good. It felt therapeutic, and I'm diving into it, and the words are just kind of pouring out of me, and then now you got to go out there and sell this book. And I guess I realized that was part of it when I started writing, but man, it's different, because we didn't talk about this to like our closest friends, and now I'm out here screaming it to the world that we had a hard time here. But it is something that I think a lot of people have a lot of shame about, and so hopefully the story maybe normalizes it a bit more and makes it so that you're not keeping it a secret from your friends and family. Yeah, it is a really difficult experience to go through, and very emotionally challenging.
And doing things like this, like comics or even making movies or TV shows about it, is helping to normalize the whole thing and make it more like, hey, it's okay to talk about. So there's plenty of reasons to do it, and other than just telling the story, there's also telling the viewer that, hey, this is normal for a lot of people. This happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Before we move on, Diao didn't tell me how much time he wanted. So
Oh,
I'll just say 10 more minutes, guys.
yeah, we should ask Vinz. How much time does Vinz want? That's more about what it is, right?
10 more minutes, Vince. Is that fine?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Just, I think, 10 minutes, no problem.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I just want to like follow up on what Rick and George were talking about.
Someone was supposed to draw, and another one was supposed to talk.
Well, I think that I can add a little bit of flavor to this conversation.
Fine.
It's great that you can write. You want to write what you know, and if you can weave that personal story into your characters, that makes it more authentic, and I think that makes it relatable. And I think that you found a great way of doing that with Jolanda's character with Colm. And I think that's write what you know and add the fantastic elements to it as well. And I want to like talk a little bit more about the technology behind her mecha arms. And I thought this was really cool. She is a double amputee here, lost both of her arms. And I was like, when we saw the metamorphosis of this character, and she has this really cool haircut, and she has these glasses. And I thought the glasses were just like, oh, that's like a kind of Bayonetta, kind of style. But then I realized there's more to the glasses. You want to talk a little bit about that, George?
Yeah, so she controls her arms through eye movements within her glasses. So there's thousands of different combinations of ways to move your eyes, and then that each one of those corresponds, and like there's a connection between the glasses and the arm, which is kind of based on real world technology, right? Where a lot of people who are unable to talk will like look at different letters and on a board, and then it'll speak sentences for them. The computer will.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of the concept of it, because I wanted to have a bit more of like a real world connection, because we're not quite there where you're having your brain tell computers what to do.
Yes.
Which I think would be kind of the typical way of going about it.
Skynet hasn't completely taken over yet. Soon, though.
I really got after trying to make this comic book dream of mine a reality. In 2019, I did 18 shows all over North America. I have a monster book called Cover Darkness that I co-write with Crystal Cam, and MJ Hiblin is the artist on that book. And I set out to get out on the road, kind of quit my day job. I called my wife one day up and it's like, I gotta go, I gotta quit, and I gotta dive into this comic book thing full time. And she's like, "Oh, are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, I got to do it." And she's like, "All right, well, why don't you take a 6-month leave of absence, and we'll see how it's going after that." And so that's what I did. And I got out on the convention circuit selling my monster book. I had like 3 issues completed. I collected that into like an 84-page graphic novel. I just got out there hustling, and it wasn't easy. And, some shows were great, and I did well, and I came back with some money in my pocket. And other shows were really small, and I didn't realize like how much an independent guy like myself is dependent on foot traffic. And so when there isn't a ton of people there, it really makes it hard to sell and to come back with any sort of profit at all. And on a road trip I was doing, I did 4 shows in 4 weeks, all across kind of central United States, and I wasn't making any money. The shows were poorly attended, and I quickly realized that if I spent all my money on hotels and eating out, I wasn't going to come back with anything. I might actually come back in the hole. So I went on a diet. I was doing like 1 foot-long sub a day, half for lunch, half for dinner. I lost a few pounds, which is good. And I started sleeping in my minivan because just to save on the hotels. And then I'd shower at the truck stops. And it was cold out too. It was like October, November, 2019 on the road. And I'm just shivering
That's old school.
Yeah, dude. It felt like I was like an indie band, like it felt kind of rock and roll, but at the same time, also kind of felt like Chris Farley, like in a van down by the river.
I can imagine.
Yeah, no, it's rough too because like sometimes I'd go to like after a show, maybe there's like a publisher or somebody there that I want to try and talk to. So it's like I gotta like get cleaned up in like a a men's room bathroom, just trying to get ready to go and mingle with like people and stuff. And yeah, it was hard, but I'm really glad I did it though. And I did come home with a few dollars in my pocket too.
Well, that's something at least. So your wife didn't kick you out. You had to have.
Yeah, no, she's very patient with me. There's a lot of sacrifice in making these comics. As a writer, you're starting your own kind of business. There's a cost to working with artists, and then there's a cost to printing, and then at conventions maybe you have a table fee, and then hotels and all these things. So you really are starting your own company in a sense, and you're the CEO. And if you're not very good with budgeting money and time and things like that,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if your books are good or not. It's like how much are you going to get after it?
I mean, you're not only just a comic book artist when you go freelance. After all, you're a bookkeeper, you're your own agent, you're your own assistant. You basically have to do everything yourself. And
yeah.
That comes as a shock for a lot of people I've talked to. That okay, I'm not just gonna sit down and draw comics. I actually also have to promote, have to do my own checkings and all that. And like, yeah, well, that's part of it. But a lot of people can see that as a surprise when they first get in there. Was that before I asked this question? 5 more minutes, artists.
Oh, 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
So yeah, my question was: did that come as a surprise for you, or did you prepare yourself for it was going to be a task with that as well?
Well, the good thing is that I like selling and I like talking to people. My first convention that I did, I sat down for the first 3-4 hours, and I had my cousin with me. And he was just being hilarious, acting like one of the Vegas, the guys with the cards, like slapping those cards. He was just doing that with like comics in his hand, and he's like, "Come check out my boy's book here, man." And so he was really getting after it for me. And then I saw what he was doing. I was like, "Yeah, no, I've got to get out there and sell too." So now when I go to shows, I stand pretty much the whole time, like all 3 days. And I want to be able to converse with people as they come up to my table and kind of look them in the eye and then kind of show my enthusiasm and my passion for my books, because a lot of times when people are buying indie books at look at this, or buying indie books at a convention, they're doing it because maybe they like the creator, they like their enthusiasm. Maybe they like the art. That's probably the main reason why they're buying the book there. So I've got to show my passion and try and have people enjoy my energy and my company. And so with my monster book, I'd be like, "Hey, you like monsters? I got some monsters here." And people like just kind of freeze in their tracks and be like, "What is this guy talking about?" and they'd be like, "What do you want, man?" And I'm like, "I'm just asking, do you like monsters?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I like monsters." So you weirdo. I've got a monster book. Can I tell you about it? And then I'd go into my spiel. Do you mind if I do it? I'll do it. It's really quick. It's kind of like Game of Thrones meets Universal Monsters. It's about a family. They get separated from each other. Oh no, right? And they encounter all these terrible villains. We got vampires, werewolves, steampunk, Atlantean, Frankenstein. And within the family, there's boys that can change into animals. So you can get like gorillas fighting werewolves. It's like totally bonkers. And then I just hand them a copy of the book and they'd flip through it. And, maybe they'd pick it up or maybe not. But I just do that like kind of.
I'll get that book. With that spiel, I'm getting that book. I like your tactic, though. You scare the customers into attention. That's a good tactic. It's like, "Hey, you like monsters? Look here, then. It works. It works. Just jump out from behind them and say, "Hey!" You get their attention, and they're too scared not to listen. It's smart. I'm surprised that tactic comes from a Canadian. You're always known to be so humble and silent and good, and then you're just scare tactics. It works. I commend you. Time's up.
What?
Time's up.
Yeah, your time is up.
Okay, I stopped.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I
We
did.
are looking at your. We are looking at your screen. Well, wait. There we go. See?
Oh, hands up.
You know what? Vince even made his signature and everything while he was waiting for you.
What? Well, you know that's the thing that I love and I hate about this show is that I can't watch our guests create magic. I gotta draw something too, so I have to watch it afterwards. So let's see what Vinz did. I wanna see this great artwork. So
see?
Oh wow, he did sign it.
Yeah.
Oh, that is.
He even put it in layers just to show you how it is done, Joe.
He did, and
that's pro move right there.
I'm gonna tell you,
this is incredible too.
Yeah, Vinz.
Yeah, let's look at it.
It's very cool, Gerald. It reminds me of like a Wolverine type pose.
Yeah. I think I was inspired. Well, obviously it's because her unique characteristic are her mecha arms. So it was kind of like a Wolverine Wakanda forever type thing. Well, actually, it's Jolanda forever. Jolanda forever. Yeah. So that's gonna be my gift to your wife for Mother's Day. Jolanda forever. So it was a pleasure to do an interpretation of this great character design that both you and Vinz put together. I just like how that she's vulnerable, but she's powerful at the same time. And I really wanted to show those cybernetic arms. Just really a wonderful character design. But Rick, do we have anybody from our audience that drew along?
We have Sarah Semper.
Ah, great. There we go. So Sarah's always been a great supporter of Comics Cast, and she's an aspiring artist, and her style is very Disney-esque. So if you ever want a Disney version of your IPs or your OCs, she's the person you need to talk to. So very, very cool, Sarah. Did we get anybody else? I was hoping maybe.
I will try and run more update and see if new people. Not this, but there's still time. There's still time. We still got two more pieces of art to do.
Yes, we want to make
sure that Pennyworth is telling you off, Gerald. When I call stop, the pencil goes down.
Okay. So Alfred, aka or Brett, aka Alfred Pennyworth, is always giving me a hard time. I think I get as much grief.
If you could behave, you wouldn't be giving a hard time.
So if I just listen to Rick. Okay, and speaking of that, speaking of Rick, this is Drawing Challenge number 2. Oh, number 2, which is called the Rick's Challenge. So I just want to say that this is Rick's favorite part of the show. I have too much caffeine, too much coffee today. But anyway, this is Rick's favorite part of the show too, which is also because he gets to dictate what we draw. So Rick's Challenge is I don't know what it is. Our guest Vinz doesn't know what it is. And Rick, I don't think he knew what it was.
There will be no Wheel of Misfortune this round, though.
No? Oh, I was hoping for a return.
Because today is a special day. We've mentioned it earlier. It's Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to involve that into my challenge, and I need your help a little, George. Without saying it out loud just yet, think of a male super villain from the Marvel Universe.
Uh-oh.
Male super villain from the Marvel Universe.
Male?
Got it?
Okay, you got one? Okay, so he's gonna say the male villain, and you'll have to draw him as a mother.
As a mother.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Okay. So
Yeah.
George, let me know who did you come up with?
How about Apocalypse?
Apocalypse as a mother. Oh, that's gonna be great.
Oh my gosh. All right, it's going to be the Snyder Cut mother version of Apocalypse. I think that's going to be really funny. All right, Vinz, you know
Dark Side. And this is a little challenging one, I'd say. So I'll give you 20 minutes. Is 20 minutes fine, Vince?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apocalypse. Oh.
Yeah. Just so I'm clear.
To draw my Dark Side.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I got that mixed up. He said Apocalypse. He's talking about Apocalypse.
Apocalypse, yeah. Sorry, Mama Apocalypse. That's
from
my
Marvel.
bad.
Marvel. Yeah, I got confused too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the X-Men villain Apocalypse as a mother. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay.
I have this in my head already.
I'm like I'm totally like.
Do you want help, Joe? What is normal mother tasks at a day-to-day basis, like at the home, like cooking or feeding the baby or stuff like that?
Okay. All right. So
Too much.
being a mom. Okay.
Apocalypse being a mom.
Okay, here we go. So let's do this challenge, and then I want to let you guys talk about how we came to this point. Go ahead.
We came to this point because I'm crazy.
You're a devious man. You're a devious man.
Yeah.
I always liked Apocalypse. I just love that line in that animated series where he's like, I'm as far beyond mutants as you are from humans, or something like this, you know? And
Yeah.
he thinks so highly of himself, and he's got like that cool look. And yeah, I don't know.
He is one of my favorite villains as well, because one of the first really big major stories I really got into. There's not a lot of comics here in Denmark, so it's hard to get. We got like one comic store. I keep saying that because I have to complain about it, but we had one comic store in all of Denmark where I come from. And but the first real big story when it came to X-Men was the Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah, me too. I remember I was so naive when I was a kid too. I'd be like, "Oh my god, things are never going to be the same again." You know?
Yep. And now it happens every third month that something messes up and Marvel goes back to kind of thing.
No, that was a cool storyline, though. I actually, our editor-in-chief, Benny Powell at Absolute Comics, worked at the Marvel office during that time. I think he wrote What If Legion killed Professor X? Because, of course, he went back in time. No, wait, he did kill. What If Legion killed Magneto was the name of the What If story. Because he went back in time to kill Magneto, but then he accidentally killed his dad, which set off the whole Age of Apocalypse storyline.
Yeah.
So Benny did the What If on the other version of it.
I actually think I've read that when I was young. I'm not 100% sure, but pretty sure. A lot of great stuff came out of the Age of Apocalypse, though. It's still one of the best X-Men storyline ever, in my opinion, at least. I mean, I became a fan of how they created Colossus, as an example. His looks, Dark Beast, and One-Handed Wolverine. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, why couldn't he just grow his hand back? You could always grow his hand back otherwise. I don't know.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Plot hole.
Well, One-Eyed Cyclops, who's actually one-eyed in that show, is
I like that.
apparently also melted the adamantium around his, so he couldn't heal past that or something like that. But before we go on, I do have a rather good question for you as a storyteller from Saeed. He's dyslexic. Yeah, easy for me to say. And he says, while I have a visual imagination, I can write, but I tend to find my sequences can be told in one panel or less. as a storyteller, how do you guys determine the sequences for the right page count that suits the comic?
Sure. So I do a lot of planning in my comics before I get started. I get like the big poster boards from the dollar store, and then I get like little post-it notes, and I plot out not only the story but also the character arcs and how the characters are going to feel emotionally and relate to each other. So I do a lot of planning from there. I try and have about 10 scenes per issue, and I usually write in 2-page scenes. I like that kind of rhythm for the book because you have kind of a setup and then the page turn and the reveal. So it's kind of like, setup and payoff like over and over again. And so I think it keeps the reading fairly snappy. It helps with having an artist like Vinz bring the whole thing together, and but that's kind of my structure, and I try and really think about that and get that sorted out first, and then when it comes time to write in the dialogue, that's when I
sorry, I just saw what Vinz was doing and I'm starting to laugh. I'm sorry, go on.
When it's time to write in the dialogue, I try and really relax, and I'll go in my hot tub, and I'll have a couple drinks, and I'll kind of float off into imagination world and just kind
That's
of
what
imagine.
I'm missing. I'm missing a hot tub to be good.
Yeah, and I try and imagine a conversation between two people, and like really try and have it be as authentic, like in my brain, as I can, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah. I'd rather imagine having a conversation than actually having one as well. So I totally get you. Yes, Marius. Yes, this is a Mother Day's apocalypse. This is a apocalypse as a mother. Guess who came up with that challenge?
Not me.
But that's interesting, Michael. There's a lot of ways to how people writers go about setting up their scenes. Do you when you do it? Do you have like and imagine it is it? Do you see it like like a movie in your head, or is it already a comic book?
Well, a mix of both, I guess. Like when I'm imagining a conversation between two people, I'm actually imagining two people, not necessarily panels. But when I'm writing for artists, like I was really inspired by Jeff Loeb and the way that he writes for artists, and he really kind of tries to think about like what would be like the most badass thing you could see, Jim Lee do, or what kind of atmospheric thing would you like to see Tim Sale do, and so he really tries to tailor to the artist. And so when I'm trying to create action scenes, and like I try and think about like, well, what's going to be like a really cool panel that I can get Vince to do. But going back kind of to the middle stage of the comic book, when I'm doing the plotting, when I'm doing the dialogue, I'm not worrying about the panel descriptions at that point. Not so much. That's more just kind of on the back burner. I'm just really trying to dial in. And then the third step is breaking down the panel descriptions for the artist and really trying to describe what I'm envisioning in my mind's eye in a way that's clear and able to understand, so that the artist can make it happen. And then the next step is that with Vinz, he'll create these roughs, like these kind of layouts, to show me what he's thinking, to see if that lines up with what I'm thinking. And I'm really lucky to work with Vinz too, because he does very detailed roughs. So there's no guessing there. Like it's pretty much fully visualized, and I can see what he's thinking. And 9 times out of 10 he's spot on, and other times it's like, well, no, actually I meant this. This is what I meant. And so then he'll go back and revise it, and once we're all kind of locked in, then he goes to inks, and then he does colors. This guy does it all.
He does. The man does everything. That's cheap work if you can find one man to do everything. After all, so that's smart.
Yeah, well, and he's dependable too, right? Because the more people you involved in the project, there are more chances there is for it to go sideways, I think.
Yeah.
How much time do we have,
Completely.
Rick? Do we have more than 5 minutes? I hope.
Okay, fine. You can get 10 more minutes.
10 more. Oh, great.
So Marius asks, so when it comes to these revision processes you do with your artists, do you do it via messenger, like email, text, or is it via calls? Or
It's been all email. Like Vinz and I actually just met like for the first time, like in person,
Yeah.
like last week.
Exactly.
So we worked together for a few years without ever actually talking to each other, just all through email.
Oh, so you're like, wait, you're French?
No.
I don't know. I do value, people's times. Like I've worked in offices before where there's
Yeah.
bloody meetings like all the time, and it's like, couldn't this have been handled in an email? So,
Yeah,
so
I must say, I mean, emails for me as well when it comes to this can be easier because that can be read on your time, and where calls have to be like put in a schedule. But then again, if you have a hard time via text, make yourself understandable, like I know I sometimes do, like Gerald. A call is sometimes better, but it sounds like you two are on complete wavelengths with each other, and that's really good to have.
yeah, no, we usually get everything done through the email, and if something's not clicking, like I'll send like a picture. You know what I mean? Like if I describe it, and he's like, "What do you mean?" And then I describe it again. He's like, "I still don't get it." And then I'll send like a picture, and he's like, "All right, like I get you." But that rarely happens, really. But yeah, I don't know if like I honestly I've worked with another artist on my monster book. There, we're getting into issue 10 right now, and I've never talked to him in person, and we've been jamming for like 3-4 years now. So I have thrown it out there. I'm like, hey man, do you want to jump on a call? He's like, no, I'm good. All right.
Well, he is an artist after all, and they do like their own time. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh God, Vince, what you're doing here, it's too good. I'm so happy for this. I made this challenge.
Man,
And
I'm so curious.
I even told Gerald when as soon as I came up, because I've had a rough weekend, so I was like, I didn't even come up with a rig challenge, and Gerald's like, you'll find one, and I did. I'm so happy for this one, and I'm so happy. Apocalypse was the choice.
Yeah, we couldn't have planned that. So I love the spontaneity of the challenge. But I'm so curious what Vinz is doing.
It's horrible.
It's a secret for you, Gerald. You don't get to see it.
It is a secret. Is it a secret?
So here's a kind of just pop culture sort of thing. Someone on my Facebook threw out there like, who do you think would win between The Mandalorian and Deadpool?
Deadpool would win.
Because he can't really die. He can't really
die. The Mandalorian is still just a Mandalorian that can die.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, he has all his helmets and I think it's the kind of like the same curve, like a little bit Batman-ish question, because Batman can beat everybody if he's proper prepared. I think it's the same with the Mandalorians after all, because they've been trained from birth to fight enemies, and I think it's still Deadpool. No, I tried to give something to the Mandalorian, but no.
Deadpool has that healing factor, so that's a strong consideration. But I am kind of just digging the Mandalorian right now a little bit more.
The comment is with me. Yeah. I think the Mandalorian as well. I really like him, and the TV show was some of the best Star Wars I've seen in years. Yes, I went there, and but he can kill Deadpool.
He could just fly away in his jetpack.
I mean,
guess that's
then Deadpool will still not die over, and then he will forfeit by running away.
That's true.
So Deadpool wins the fight. And plus Deadpool is too chaotic for Mandalorian to really get a strategy in on. But it was a good question. You almost got me to reconsider. Almost. And time is up.
Oh, time is up.
Yeah. Daryl.
Okay,
Daryl.
I'm stopping. I'm
not finish it.
All right,
Vince, we can't see your screen, Vince. So just play around with it a little more. We'll start looking at Daryl's then.
You're gonna
No, we are looking at yours now.
Okay.
Yes.
So I did Apocalypse babysitting or being a mother to Grogu from The Mandalorian. So.
But Grogu is Marvel, though.
I know he is Marvel. Disney owns Marvel and Star Wars. So
he comes with his semantics.
It's truth. It's truth. But I had a good time. I think it was kind of a fun challenge. I don't think Apocalypse is enjoying it, but he's doing his best.
I saw the panic in your eyes.
And I don't think Grogu is enjoying it either. He's like, all right, get me out of here. I want the Mandalorian back. So, all right, let's see what Vinz did.
No, we're gonna see what Sarah did. So Vince have a little more time to finish because he's the guest.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't finish your Zimmer, you'll meet the Mama Snap.
Oh, so she used Thanos, but I guess Apocalypse as Thanos, maybe?
Mama Thanos, as it says here.
Oh, oops.
I think as I usually say with the with people drawing along, if they have better ideas than me, they can pick another character, but the guys in here can't. So I think that's what he did.
Yeah, it's excellent work nonetheless, Sarah. Thank you for drawing along.
I will just pump this up. Vince, are you ready to show it?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. There's one more. There's one more from Victor Rufino.
Hey!
Yes!
Victor!
Baby Magneto. I love it. That gets a like.
Awesome. Yes.
That is so good.
Victor, awesome. And I like, is he wearing like an apron?
Yeah, he's wearing an apron and there's cooking in the background. And
Very cool. Very cool. Love that, Victor.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yes. I love this. Please tell me, Vince, that you're gonna finish this at some point because I would love this completely finished. It's just my kind of crazy.
Kind of reminds me of was it Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah, Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger, exactly.
I was actually thinking, I don't know if you remember the X-Babies by Art Adams back in the 80s. Yeah, it kind of has that with a little bit with Scotty Young thrown in there too.
Yeah.
So very, very creative. I think this has to be one of the funnest challenges that we've ever had. If not some of them, just I don't know. I never would have thought of Apocalypse as a mother. So very, very cool.
Thank you for joining in on the craziness, George, with coming up with the ideas.
Yeah, George. I think you thought, you had like a premonition. It's like, what character can I think of that would just totally own this whole Rick challenge? But it was great. I love that. So Rick will keep an eye out for anybody that if you want to do the Apocalypse as a mother, or if you want to do Jolanda from Resilient, you please submit it. Just let us know in the comment field, and Rick will post it to the art show, and we'll feature it. But as we move to the third drawing challenge, I'm gonna pull up let me remove this, and I'm gonna share screen one more time.
Oh.
Are you clicking stuff? Let's see. Let me share this.
Yeah, I'll take the logo. I'll take the logo spot for you, George. People need to see that pretty face and that background better as best as possible. I love your background. This just shows either you're collectible or you're really just happy of your own work and posted that up there.
These are Vinz's down here.
Yes.
These are covers from Resilient. This is from my monster book. This is Scott McDaniel's art from Batman and stuff like that. He did covers for us on there. Oh, can I give you a little office tour really quick?
Oh,
yes,
sure.
Please.
All right. So we've got Saint Stan. I got my Avengers #1. I got Daredevil and Carnage and Venom. I got my Wolverine. I got a couple blank spots there. So, and then there's some original artwork, and then there's my closet. And my desk down here.
So it's basically a walk-in closet slash office.
Yeah.
I was joking with him when we because Rick, you beat me to the punch here when I was talking to them to George yesterday about. I go, man, that is the most awesome man cave that you've got in your background. He goes, it's a closet. It's a man closet.
It's a man cubby.
Cubby.
And at least your wife allowed you a spot of your own, so that's good.
Yes,
that's always nice.
You gotta make magic where you can, right? So if it's there, that's what it is.
I've told him many times, Joe needs some pencils.
What? No one likes these. Really, I got this.
Look at them.
My niece, she gave this to me. It has special meaning, So.
But it's so small, it triggers me. It's like.
Here we go. But anyway, let me share let me share one more screen because we're gonna go into our final drawing challenge here. So here we go. I want people to see this, and for some reason, there it is. At the stream. Okay.
Do you need help by a professional?
Oh yeah, you're the. I'll ask George or Vinz because they're very professional, right? No doubt. Rick is the consummate professional. He is a professional that I could never be, right? So anyway, I want to show this. This is our third drawing challenge, and this character is.
This is Gustavo. No, it's just the first name. That was just the first name that came to mind when I looked at him. It was. This is a Gustav.
Gustav? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think Vinz told me it's the Victorian. He just had a working name. He said, "Oh, it's the Victorian skull," and I was like, "Oh, that sounds so cool." It's like the Red Skull, but he's like the Victorian skull, and it's like there's a story that still needs to be told or needs to be conceived. That needs to be built, and there might be a potential tie-in to Resilient. We don't know. That's something that George and Vinz are going to have to work out. But you look at like a really cool character design. This is it. I mean, it's like you can look at this and you don't have an idea. You don't have an inkling of who he is, but you can just derive. You can come up with your own story just by looking at all the little details.
He works at McDonald's.
Is that what it is? What gave it away? What part of it made you think he looked like he worked for McDonald's?
I don't know.
Okay, but I'm just looking at it. You see,
I love the little alligator on the cane.
Right. I think Rick thought that was a McNugget, so he thought.
Yeah. Oh, that's not a McNugget. Oh no, I'm kidding. I can see the alligator. There's so much detail in this. Holy poop on a platter! This is beautiful.
Exactly. I was just trying to rescue my co-host there, but you just look at this and his pose, his attitude. It's like you can kind of like already in your mind, you're already like coming up with a story to go along with it, and that's really good character design because it's not so one-dimensional that you just say, "Oh, it's a pretty picture." which it is. It's a very pretty picture, but you can get so much out of this. You know, everything from he has like a steampunk aesthetic to him. This top hat. I mean, it almost looks like it could be voodoo as well. This cane with the alligator head, and you know, and you know it's smoking. So you know and then you just see the patterns in his lapel.
He's obviously from New Orleans.
Yeah,
possibly. With all the crocodile looks and everything, he looks like a steampunk New Orleans kind of skull mafia fella.
Yeah, and I had the pleasure of listening.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gusto, the New Orleans gangster boss.
Right. And it looks so cool. And I was just thinking, you know, when we were looking at this together with George, I'm not going to spill the beans. They were just sort of spitballing ideas about who this person could be and how this could probably exist in a resilient universe. And I got to be the fly on the wall and listen to that brainstorming. And I'm not going to reveal it because
able to sit still and listen. What?
Yes, that was impossible. I didn't have any coffee that time, but it's amazing to hear two creators just talk and figure out an idea that could. And I'm happy because then I could say if it does happen, I got to witness the genesis of when that idea was founded. So very, 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 very cool thing. I mean, I love these, even the cuff links, and how they have a glow about them. I mean, just
so much detail.
So superb.
It just I have this idea and I have make some character like this. You can to show my post Victorian gangster on ArtStation, and you have a old woman and too many characters like this style. And I just I just want create art direction for it, but I have no idea of the story. It's in my head, and I need to draw it, and I don't know why.
Well, then it's great that you have a guy like George that you can just toss it to and say, "Hey, do you think something good could come out of this?"
And George said yes. He said yes.
George said no, and then hung up on you. No, he didn't. Yeah.
Okay, and you know, just to give us, I want to show this other piece because this is a companion piece to the whole thing. So everybody, this is like another character that exists in the same unit.
Molly is back, mugging you.
Yeah, at least she didn't say Freakazoid. She didn't say Freakazoid. So, but I wanted to say my thought on this is that this is another character that exists in that same universe, and I could tell you that I could see. Who knows? You know, this character is kind of like, hey, like a Harley Quinn type of character who could maybe battle with Jolanda. I don't know. I mean, there was like all sorts of really cool things, and then it's revealed who the puppet master is, and it's the Victorian skull. But who knows? I just think that it could be really cool, and then there's a whole time traveling element, or maybe they're immortal. I don't know, but those are things that we were all kind of like just hearing them talk to each other. It was amazing. It was like witnessing creation, comic creation in person. So I really enjoyed that. So anyway, this is the Victorian skull. It's a original character by Vinz, and it's brilliant. It's awesome.
Before you completely start, Sarah asked, "How can I draw this?" And Sarah, you take your pencil, you put it on the paper, and then you move shapes until it looks like this. That's how you draw.
Yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. But yeah, so I want you guys to draw this with me because there's such a rich potential story in there, and you can see all these details. Vinz killed it. So we're going to get to see him do another interpretation of this Victorian skull working title character, and I want you guys to draw along with us. So how much time do we have, Rick, for this one?
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
No, look at Wayne's look. His face was like, no.
2 or 3 days.
Let's meet in the middle and say 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes. Okay. Starting. Okay, let me get my art cam back up in here. And
no, your art cam is here. No, I had it handled. Okay, George. Let's look at Gustav for one more second.
I'm trying to think of a name for this guy. He seems like a Mister. He should be like not Mr. Sinister, but Mr.
Mr.
I don't know.
Gustav.
Mr. Gustav.
Or just simply Mr. Mask.
Nah, you can be more.
I don't know.
Jarrell, you draw, me and George speak.
Okay. Here.
What? Yeah, in the comments there, guys. Though, like, if you have any ideas for names for this character, that's. I don't want to try and step on this. This is Vinz's original character.
Yeah, but if
the other day we were just kind of spitballing. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I'd love to maybe work this into Resilient, but this is Vinz's guy, 100%. I don't have anything to do with this. But
there's Mr. Mystic. There's Jack the Ripper. I think that name is taken, Jack the Ripper. I've heard it before somewhere. But Mr. Mystic, I really like if they had like what's a New Orleans slang for
Mr. Vignette.
because as Gerald said, it have that voodoo look and that alligator. It has that New Orleans feel, like the swamps of New Orleans feel too, in my opinion at least.
I think it could be like Jackson from like Jackson Square in New Orleans.
Or Mr. Dundee.
Dundee. That doesn't
Crocodile
sound.
Dundee. No.
That's Australian. That's Australian. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's taken too.
So, what do you imagine him like? Let's talk. We could talk a little bit. Dr. Nola. There's Dr. Nolov.
Dr. Nola.
Even a guy in a mask can find love, Heidi. Don't. He's allowed to find love.
It kind of reminds me of the villain from just in the top hat, I guess, with from the Princess and the Frog, the Disney movie.
Yeah. That's true. There's some resemblance there, a little bit there. What was his name? Not Gaston. The only Disney villain I remember is Gaston because he's my favorite.
Yeah.
Gaston.
Gaston did nothing wrong. So I don't even see him as a mafia leader, actually. I see him like a solo, a kind of robber thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he would be. Dr. Facilier, or whatever, is from Princess and the Frog.
Dr. Gustav.
Dr. Gustav. What is the origin of that name, Gustav? That sounds
Gustav, it just sounds funny. It's I do believe it's Scandinavian originally. Gustav, yeah. But it's just a funny name, and I'm gonna keep saying it until Vinz can get it out of his head. Vinz decided to start over, Jero. So you got a chance now.
Oh, I got a chance. Okay. Well, that just means Vinz is probably going to have time to do 2 drawings now instead of 1.
Vinz just finished, Joel.
Awesome.
So is this the first time you actually see Vinz work in progress like this in live?
It is my first time seeing him work live. He's very fast, eh?
Yeah. I apologize if I jump out. It seems like my internet is having hiccups.
So I was selling my monster book at a convention 2 years ago, and I sold the book, and I never present myself as the artist or anything like that, but I usually say I'm the writer, I make the book or whatever, but for whatever reason, the person who bought the book misunderstood, and they walked away, and then they actually came back a few hours later, and they're like, would you mind doing like a sketch in the front cover? And at that point, I didn't have the heart to say, well, I'm just the writer.
Well, you're Canadian after all.
So I sat down to do like a little vampire in the front cover there, and I tried my best. And the guy looked at it, and then he looked at me, and he looked back at it, and he's like, so it takes you a long time to make the book.
Oh, that's a nice way. He was trying to be nice as well. But saying, "Oh my God, you suck," he just said, "You must be really slow artist." That's also my excuse. Just ask our good friend Brian Menard. I'm a real slow artist as well. And Vince, even though he restarted, just surpassed you again.
No.
That's twice now, Jaro.
Yeah.
Not gonna stress you, but
Is he on his third drawing?
I think he was just trying to find a proper setup for the look.
Oh, okay.
So Gustav, what? Sorry, George.
One thing with the Resilient is we start off very like real world, but this series is part of the Absolute Comics universe. They have the White Widow book. They do I Make Boys Cry, and so these are titles that are more superhero titles. And our little corner of the Absolute Comics universe is kind of like the more street level, the more Daredevil, Jessica Jones sort of vibe. But it is still connected to the rest of it. And so you'll see crossovers with those things in the future. This is the start of an ongoing, and we're going to connect up with the rest of the universe. The first 5 issues are fairly self-contained. There's some references there, but for the most part, it's our own story. It's our origin story, and it's full of heart and kind of setting up who these characters are. But then moving past that, we're gonna mix it up with some other characters and get a little bit more supernatural, a little bit more sci-fi than kind of the groundedness that we start off with. I want to thank Absolute Comics Group. They've taken a chance on us here. This is my first time being published. Vinz, I know you've done work in France. You worked on the French version of The Crow, right?
Yeah.
In comics, and you've done heaps of covers for Zenescope and lots, and you've worked on Sisterhood there, the monster book that we showed earlier. But this is your first time like with interiors published in the US, am I right? Yeah. So that's
in USA, yeah.
Yeah. So this is a first for both of us here, and we're really excited about this opportunity. For Absolute Comics Group, their White Widow book is one of the highest selling independent comics out there, and their Kickstarters typically do just phenomenally. And this is the time that they've launched the new character, and done a Kickstarter without that White Widow character attached to the Kickstarter. So they have a lot of faith in our book. And I just want to thank them for taking the chance on it.
Yeah, well, they can take a chance on you by what I've seen. I mean, you sound like you have a brilliant mind, and Vince have the creativity and the skills to put those ideas onto paper perfectly. So also something I wanted to talk about before it's too late. Jaro mentioned at the start that you do really quick Kickstarters, but you have a whole idea on it's a bit of a different approach that works for you. Would you care to elaborate a little about your thought process in doing it that way?
This is an Absolute Comics Kickstarter, and the way that they work it is they try and do all their promotion at once. And so the book just went into Previews Magazine, and we have 3 versions of the comic available in Previews Magazine, which you can go into your local comic book store and ask them to bring in Resilient. But then at the same time, they launch a Kickstarter, and it's a 10-day Kickstarter, so it's very short. And we have 6, but there's a sketch cover as well available on there. So there's 10 covers in total available for the book. And basically, they do it so short so that they can fulfill quickly. And so the idea is that because while it's in Previews Magazine now, and you can order into your stores now, it won't be in stores until June 30th. So if you back the Kickstarter, you'll get it before the June 30th date. And then there's like exclusive options there. And we've got all sorts of fun style of covers. We've got like lenticulars and metal covers and lots of really shiny metallic ink covers, all sorts of really neat stuff like that too. So that's kind of the idea, is they can market both things at the same time, and
I like that process. There's nothing I dislike the most as a bagger is have to wait like almost 6 months before, because I've tried that with some. None that's been part of this comics cast, because they've been professional about it. But when it all started, this whole Kickstarter thing, people sometimes said, "Yeah, if you back now, you'll get it in 6 months." I'm like, that's a bit too much with waiting time. So your approach is really something I could join in on easily, because I know then, okay, I'll tops wait 2 months and I'll get my stuff.
Yeah, I think it's fun, as a reader to, and it allows us to keep a bi-monthly schedule. That's the plan. Vinz and I are nearly done issue 4 right now, so we have a good head start on these guys, and we're coming out every 2 months. It shouldn't be a problem to keep that schedule. Vinz is so quick too, as you can see.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So the way that this project kind of came about with Absolute Comics was we created the first issue together. I kind of self-funded it, and then I really wanted to secure a publishing deal before continuing on with more issues. And I on my road trip there, where I was tabling 19 times in a year, a bunch of times I was next to Jamie Tyndall, who's the artist on their White Widow book, or his partner in crime Murphy, who's now a co-writer for him, and they're just really nice people, really great people, and we'd hang out after the show and go to a bar or something like that and have some drinks, and just kind of got to know those guys. And I didn't really submit the book like anywhere. It was like they just liked the book, and I was like, all right, let's put it out through you guys, because you seem to know what you're doing here. And I went to New York Comic Con there, which, if anyone's looking to crack into comic books, I recommend going to New York, because at that show you can actually meet people who are decision makers, that are potentially an editor-in-chief or chief creative officer or something like that. Whereas if you go to smaller conventions and you try and talk to somebody there, you might be talking to someone who's just an event staff, or they're not able to give you a yes or no on your book. And so at New York, I met with the editor-in-chief there, and he read the book, and he thought it was great and that it would be a perfect fit. And so that was in October 2019. And then 2020 happened, which kind of pushed back our plans there. And now we're launching finally. And so we've got a good head start with them too.
That's good. I'm looking forward to that. I might even have to consider living on bread for the rest of the month, so I can get part of this Kickstarter here, because I love everything I've seen so far.
Living on bread, it's not that expensive.
Yeah. No, it's not that bad. No. I do have an apartment and not a minivan to sleep in, so I guess I got it better than you did. But yeah, we got 5 more minutes, guys.
5 more minutes, okay. So I guess Vinz is on his like sixth drawing, and he's like coloring it right now. And
No, it's hard to redraw it, because I think I have make it in 2080. It's 3 years I don't do.
Love the bow tie.
Yeah, I love the bow tie as well. Gustav looks fancy in this one, Vinz. So yeah, again, if anybody got any questions like related to this, let us know in the comments. I'm just gonna watch the art a little bit. I was almost going quiet to watch the art because it's so good. I mean,
Wow.
Jels is fine as well, but Vince's is wow.
just okay.
I really need to ask you from an artist to an artist, Vince. Is this just the normal is this just a normal line brush you use for this?
My brush is just pencil.
Oh, Kyle's Ultimate Pencil. Yeah.
It's
Everybody can get that
Photo
one.
brush. I downloaded it on ArtStation. I think.
Yeah, I do believe all Kyle's brushes is free with Adobe now, Adobe Store.
Sorry?
I really love the pinup that you did of Jolanda there, the first drawing you did. I'm thinking we should try and use that somewhere.
You see, he's incredible fast. He made a basic con sketch right in front of us from start to finish.
Well,
really
I think,
good work.
Vinz, you want to talk a little bit because you work for you're a concept artist at that video game design company. You have to like churn out concepts like water, right? I mean, you have to and that explains your speed, right?
How do you churn out water?
Okay, sorry, bad comparison. But you have to churn out concepts like really quickly, right?
Yeah, but for Dead by Daylight, I'm in charge of the cinematics 2D, and I need to draw faster. I think I draw storyboard in 1 day, and I animate the animatics 1 more day. And after, when it's validated, I think 1 or 2 weeks for draw, reanimate, and all the cinematic alone. And after, it's a sound designer. He take my video.
So when you say storyboards in 1 day, how many drawings is that? Like, it's, I don't know, 10 drawing to 20, and I cut all the assets for animate in Puppet.
Wow.
And after I animate in animate software Flash and After Effects. After cut all the assets.
Oh, that's nice. So you learn to be quick.
and you work in other 3D mediums too, right? Not just drawing, but also.
That depends the work I need to make, but I can use 3D for AZS working, Azure working. So I'm so sorry for my English.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It takes a little bit. It takes a little longer to understand, but it's fine. I'm pretty sure the people in the comments can understand you as well. They just have to listen a little bit harder. It's okay. They're used to my bad English, so.
No, you're better for me.
Well, I spent most of my English to harass Gerald. That's how I improved.
And now he's learning Filipino. He's learning Tagalog, so he can like.
I'm learning Filipino so I can harass Gerald in all the languages he understands.
Exactly. How much time do we got, Rick?
Time is actually up in 1 minute.
1 minute, okay.
We can stop it now, Vinz, if you're done. No, he'll just add a few more details just to be kind. What a kind man he is.
What a cool design, eh?
I'm still looking at the Archeo and looking at that drawing Victor Rufino made of Apocalypse and Baby Magneto, and I'm laughing every time I see it out in the corner of my eye.
Yeah. I did. I was. So I share a studio with John Delaney. He's an artist that worked on. Not in my home office, so we don't share this space together.
That's not a lot of. Is he behind the clothes?
It's a tight closet here. No, I have an office downtown as well, and and he did a sketch challenge at like a convention, and it was him and John Boy Myers who worked on Teen Titans, and the two of them were kind of drawing, and they had to do some sort of like parenting thing too as well, and it had Aquaman, and like the baby was like being attacked by a shark or something like that, and I don't know, it was crazy. It was, yeah. I always love these like sketch battles at conventions. I know at up here in Canada we have like a lot. Well, and in the United States too, the Fan Expo group always puts on a lot of sketch battles, and I just love attending them as a fan too.
I wish we had cons here in Denmark. If we had cons, I'm absolutely sure if we had cons, I would have been. No, I'd probably still have been around here and not gotten any further. But hey, I can dream. Look at this. Look at this finish he's going with now. The minute is actually over, but I don't want Vinz to stop. Go on, Vinz. Go on. Just go on. You got
Look
it.
at the special consideration that our guests get, but he gives me
you have to stop, by the way.
I do? I did stop.
Yeah, because what Vinz is doing here makes things look better, so he can continue. You just have to stop.
I did stop. I don't know. I'm.
Yeah, well, you keep forgetting that you got a cam on your work. We can literally see you work.
Well, tell pencils down.
Okay, pencils down, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, done.
Yep. See, Vinz being a pro, he raises his hands every time.
All right, I'm done.
Yep. Let's check yours first then, seeing it's here.
Oh, okay. So
very nice.
Yeah, super cool.
And that's a nice looking Gustav you got there.
So did we determine that Gustav is the name? I kind of like Dr. No Love. I think that's
Dr. No Love. Yeah.
No, and maybe you can spell like No Love like I don't know, like it was French. New Love. I don't know. I'm just saying that it'd be really Louve. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, it was fun. Vinz, your character.
My internet is still hiccuping as all hell, so I'm sorry about that, guys. But anyways, we got people in the art show as well before we show Vinz's.
Okay.
First and foremost, we got Victor Rufino again.
Oh, very cool. What a gentleman.
Very, very cool. It's
I like that.
It's like he's bowing after he shot you with his chain.
Oh, yeah.
And we got Sarah again.
Nice.
She complained about too much detail, but look at her. She got it all in. She got all the important stuff in on the character, right?
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Love it, Sarah. Love it.
All right.
So
Look at this.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
You did
Doc
this?
Augusto. Doc Augusto. Yes. Gustav Augusto. Yes.
You did this in 20 minutes? Oh, my God.
No, he didn't, Jarl. No, he didn't, Jarl. He actually had it already ready for us, and he just loaded it up and waited. You didn't see it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
This is like, what is this? This is his sixth drawing, maybe? Was it like the sixth version that he did?
No, he only deleted it once.
Oh, my gosh.
I just finished the Apocalypse.
I still love that. Still love it.
Yeah, I still love it.
But I will finish the art.
I like the skit. It has a Conskits vibe to it. So
yeah. Well, would you like I send it to you after?
Oh, I'd love that. I'd love that.
So he changed it to Dr. Augusto versus Dr. Gusto. So yeah.
No. His first name is Gustav. Gustav Augusto. It's
Vinz
perfect.
He was trying to get around copyright. He said, if I do Gusto, then I gotta pay Rick. But if he puts it Augusto, no, I don't have to pay anything.
No, it's Gustav.
Very smart. You're so smart. Quite the smart business move right there. But this concludes our drawing challenges. And if anybody wants to like still submit if they want to draw along, and we will keep the comments field open, and Art Show obviously will be there. So just let Rick know. And now we're going to go into talking more about the Resilient campaign on Kickstarter. But before we do that, I was overhearing the comments that they were talking about Vinz being also not just a talented, 2D illustrator, like he also does animation. And I wanted to share two little animation things before we get into talking about Resilient to show you just how talented he is. And I could see this being something that he could do also for Resilient. So let me share another screen. And Vinz, I don't know if you want to say some other things, but let me stop this and share.
So, if you had told me what he was going to do here, I would have prepared it already.
Well, some of us were drawing, Rick.
Who will draw? Do you call that drawing? You call that drawing? Okay.
Oh, listen to that grief. Listen to what I got to deal with. I just got to deal with so much. All right, so here we go. Showing up. Okay.
You had in your background there?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to show this. This is his idea of a rough, a rough concept. And I'm going to show you the finished piece. So just even this rough concept looks so good. So here we go. I'm going to play this.
It's for the Halloween event of since 3 years, I think.
Mm-hmm. It looks so good. And I remember your Dead by Daylight full videos and animation is just amazing to begin with.
Yeah.
All right. So we saw that, and wait till you see like what he did with the finished piece. So let me unstop screen and share this. We're not used to sharing video, but I just had to show this because
you're not.
Okay, Rick has shared video like plenty of times. We won't say what videos he shares, but we'll leave
it's from Pornhub.
That's the point of the internet for Rick. Right? Here we go. So,
the internet is for porn.
I liked it when we just sort of suggested. You didn't have to say it. Here we go. So check this out.
Yeah, you really got the atmosphere with the colors too.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So annoying when you wake up with an alarm clock. You get so mad.
The frame rate is weird, but yeah.
Looks
So
so
is this
good.
all you, Vinz, or do you have someone assisting you to?
No. I draw, paint, and animate alone.
Wow.
And, I have a narrative and a sound designer, and it's my job every day.
How long would it take for you to do something like that?
Yeah, I have made it in 3-4 weeks, but it's just the second part of 3 videos for Halloween.
Yeah, it's amazing you can still do that so fast. It looks phenomenal.
It looks really good. And now I can finally brag to my fellow gamer friends that hey, I know an artist that worked for Dead by Daylight.
He's gonna brag.
He's my new best friend. He's my new best friend.
I got to name his character. His name is Gusto. No, it's Augusto.
Gusto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Dr. Augusto. I don't know, but I just really wanted to show that because it just goes to show you how talented Vinz is, and that's what attracted George to recruit him to be on the Resilient campaign. And this is where I'm gonna turn over control a little bit to George. If you want to pull up the Kickstarter page, I want you to give your you gave that brilliant pitch for your monster comic. You don't have to be like shouting out and go like, I got your monsters right here. You don't have to do
I got your robot arms. I got your robot arms right here.
I got your hot cybernetic chick with mecha arms. You don't have to say that, but I would love for you to walk us through your Kickstarter campaign. And Rick talked about it being a 10-day campaign. Just give us the whole spiel. I want you to tell us about that. So welcome to share. There you go. The mic is in your hand.
You guys can see what I've got here.
Yes.
So this is our Kickstarter. We're partnered with I Make Boys Cry issue 2. So it's 2 Kickstarters in one. And we're doing well. We got fully funded in 50 minutes, as you can see there. And so the first little section here, it talks about I Make Boys Cry. So I won't spend too much time on it. We do have like some cool push goals though. You can get like our a poster here of Resilient for when we pass the 30K mark. But to scroll down here, these are the I Make Boys Cry section, and now here we are into Resilient. So as I mentioned before, it is kind of a 16 plus book. There's cursing, there's kind of some adult subject matter as far as people dying gruesomely, stuff like that. And so maybe don't give it to the kiddos, but so here we have our 3 retail editions of the book. Cover A is by Vinz here, our series artist, and all around good dude. And then we have cover B there by Ali Garza. Ali's an artist that worked on Deadpool. He worked on Teen Titans and Supergirl. And actually, I'm working on a book with Ali Garza as well. It's called Fire Engine Red. It'll be out next year. And then our third one there is the one that's flashing red and blue, and it's a cover that's a lenticular. So you turn it one way, and she's got her arms, and then you turn it the other way, and she doesn't have her arms.
Wow.
That's
the whole reason. Yeah, that's the reason why lenticulars were invented, for this cover.
Yeah, that's by Andy Bellinger, artist that worked on like Southern Cross, Swamp Thing, Kill Shakespeare, and he's got the Mother Trucker book out on Kickstarter too. Next group we've got. So these are Kickstarter exclusive covers now. So you won't be able to find these in stores. The one by Chris Brooks Morris there that features the husband and wife team before she loses her arms. And that's a first-time comic book artist. He's got a bit of a following on Instagram, and he's a super nice guy. And then the other cover there in front of the moon, that's by Ed Bennis of Justice League and Birds of Prey fame. Super psyched to get a cover by Ed. I've been talking to him about. Yeah, he's so good, right? I talked to him for maybe like 2 years. Off and on, and he came through with a cover like about a week before we launched the Kickstarter. I got it colored up by Sanju, who's a colorist based out of India. Super nice guy, and does like incredible colors as well. Then we've got a sketch cover. These are metallic ink covers. These 2 ones where they're super glossy and shiny, and so we have one by Mystic Arts, who's another artist that I'm working on a book. It's called Hybrid Force. We've got 4 issues in the can on that. I kind of got to get the nerve up to send it around to publishers, because I really hate the submission process, to be honest with you. The waiting is just kind of kills my soul a little bit. So so that's the one cover, and the other one is by Jeffrey the Chamba. I like to say his name, the Chamba Cruz.
He is really good. I've been a fan of him ever since his first Udon work back with Street Fighter.
Yeah, Street Fighter, Darkstalkers. Yeah, he's just got so much energy there. And then we've got 2 more here. Now these are metal covers. They're like the hard. Like,
that's a butt. I mean,
that's a bomb.
That's
right
beautiful.
There, yeah. So. Yeah, that's our meditation cover. This is by Colin Turnbull. He's actually a friend of mine. He works in the oil fields in northern Alberta, and he's a great artist. And I was just like, dude, you gotta you got to try and put something together for us. And the publisher actually really liked it so much that they made it one of the highest reward tiers. Yeah, so look out for Colin. He'll be creating more covers for us in the future. And then again, we've got Ed Bennis this time with kind of a fire background, and it's these two books are what do you call virgin covers, where there's no logo or anything like that, because they're on the metal plates, and they're super glossy and shiny and stuff like that. So yeah, so we've got 10 covers all together. Yeah, pick up one, pick them all, whatever you want to do there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just like I mean, these are all great covers. I think it's going to be very hard for people to pick just one. So buy them all. You know, definitely send some love towards George and Vinz and support this project, because it's phenomenal. It's really, really, really good. And what I would like to do is before we get into, I'm just going to give a little preview. So George, did you have anything else you want to talk about this resilient? I guess if you want to scroll up to the top, let's look at one more thing before I share some interior panels to give people a preview of what the comic looks like on the inside. But I really want to stress this was fully funded in 50 minutes, 4 more days to go. It's a 10-day campaign, 331 backers. It's great. You know, it's just a great story to talk about how, you know, you've linked yourself up with a tremendous publisher already bearing fruits. I think it's really cool to see some success here from indie creators like you and Vinz. And I only encourage all of our audience to check it out. I Make Boys and Resilient. You know, definitely support the resilient side of it, but you got some dough you want to put towards I Make Boys Cry, definitely do that as well. But get all those awesome covers. So let me share one more thing, and before we have to get to the sad part of the show. So let me get to the window and go back to this. And
yeah, I Make Boys Cry is a quality book. Yeah, you can get the first issue too in this Kickstarter, so you can get caught up on that too. So that was an alternative cover that we didn't end up using, but it's the Ali Garza one, but we went with the yellow background, more like the what's her name, Ruby Riveter from World War II.
Right.
Yeah, so we went with the yellow background to match that.
Yeah, I love it still. And you know, if you get it may not be a cover, but if you buy the book, it's in the interior, right? Is that correct? Is that going to?
No,
yeah.
So it is a cover, but with the yellow background, not with the.
With the yellow background. I gotcha.
Listen, Gerald, try to listen. He said it.
Oh, here we go. So you've seen a lot of these pieces already here too. Let me get to some sequentials here. So we have the splash page, which, oh my gosh, Vinz killing it. Literally, she killed it. We get some sequentials here. I'm not gonna zoom in here because I just want to show just layouts, because I want people to buy the book. So Vinz, again, a talent. You saw what he could do with splash pages and covers. And things that he does on the fly, but now these are his sequential works, and he brings all of his skills to the table when it comes to doing sequentials as well, and just really, really cool stuff. And you know, again, I don't
Triple H. Oh, sorry, it looks like Triple H, like the rest of Triple H.
Yes, and you know, the color palette is something that grabs you too. I mean, the choices for color theory in terms of telling the story can be told through color as well. And Vinz, your palette that you chose for this really complements the story. This is a scene I think Rick would love. So.
Which one?
It's the first time I show the page with the bubble, the text bubble, and it's really strange. It's really cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's you know, you're such a really good storyteller, visual storyteller, and George could not have picked a better artist to helm his project here, and it just looks phenomenal. And let's look a little. We're just gonna do.
Ouch! That seems to hurt.
Right. So let's go. We're gonna do a quick, just show a few sequentials from here as well.
Not too many, Gerald. They have to buy it all as well.
I know. Well, they're not gonna read it. I'm just showing how, you know, it's a challenge. Oops. Let's. I really just want to show. I just really want to show some of these things. But that's enough. That's enough teasing for now.
They've seen enough. They've had enough.
Never enough. Never enough.
That was the first time that anyone's ever seen anything from issue 2. So yeah,
so
that's kind of
that
cool.
was sneak peek. Okay, so yes, it's been a pleasure to have you guys on the show, and I gave everybody a gander. And, cannot thank you enough, because not only that, it was just so easy to talk about your project, because you guys are it's just talent. It's great talent. You for an independent creator, writer and visual illustrator, to put resilient, put that together. And like George said, this is a fast campaign. He already has I think he said issue 4 is already in production. So it's not like the typical Kickstarter stuff that you see where, maybe an issue comes out, it campaigns for 30 days, and maybe it takes 3 months for those issues to get fulfilled. And, that's not really a model that can be sustained if you're competing with like monthly books from the big boys. So what I think George is tapping in on here is to be able to put out books faster, so the fans aren't left wanting. They can see the book, they can fund it, and there's a benefit for doing the Kickstarter campaign, because you can get exclusive covers, all sorts of neat prints. You saw it there. George was talking about it, but you can also find it at your local comic shop, which we want to support that, because that is that was a life that's where a lot of people got into comics, going to their local comic shop. And for me, I remember going to like drugstores and pharmacies. I mean, just going to like the 7-Eleven. Those don't happen anymore. So you have to find your comic fix another way, and to see it actually in previews, Diamond, being distributed through Diamond, that's just an awesome thing. So awesome. So here we go. This is the sad part of the show where we have to say goodbye, and I will hand the mic over to Vinz first. And Vinz, you just give us your we call it the Oscar speech. You can pretty much say whatever you want, your final thoughts, your thank yous and whatnot.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. And if you want to follow me, it's in Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
right there. Yes, you can find Vinz on it has George right now, but if you just watch it here, we're going to put it in the comments field. That's how you can find how you can like and follow. Definitely do that and get in touch with Vinz or George. Maybe you want to hire them to do stuff. A man of a few words, but Vinz lets his work speak for himself. So Mike is now passed on to you, George. Give us your Oscar speech.
Oh, I'd like to thank my wife for putting up with me on Mother's Day, bailing on her. She's a sweetheart. Yeah, and guys, if you do want to bring the book into your comic book store, you have to request it. If you go there June 30th, hoping it's going to be there. I don't know if it will be. So tell your store to bring it in for you. And I want to thank Vinz. He's been a great partner to me. Working together on this book now. We've been doing this for like 2 years, kind of making these issues, and I'm so excited to be here. Putting the book out into the world. It was a special day when it was in Previews magazine. That was my first time in Previews, so I went and bought a copy, and I think I'm gonna put it up here in my closet / office.
Well, Michael, you're just showing everybody that all you have to do to get where you want to be is you just gotta have faith. You just gotta have faith.
Okay, that was another George Michael reference. If you didn't,
I couldn't end the show without at least one more George Michael.
That is.
It's George Michail, guys. Okay, I'm just teasing.
George Michail. All right, so fantastic, you guys. The door is open. We would love for you to come back on the show. You are always welcome. So anything that's new, especially Vinz, if you decide to use the Gusto or Gusto, I don't know if you want to do that or not, but I would love to hear, Gustav or Gusto or whatever. If that becomes a collaboration with George, that would be awesome. But both of you are welcome to come on together or as individuals. You just let us know, because it's been a treat to have you both here, and I'm looking forward to hearing big things from both of you. Just even bigger things. I see so much talent and potential here that it's going to be something that will be in the news in the near future. We're going to see lots of good things. So that being said, we like to close our show out with, and let's see how fast my co-host, he is on the ball. Look at that. He changed the banner. The banner is for goldenfight.org. They're our charity partner. And we have no financial ties to them. We just really, really, really love what they do. They're an organization, a charity group that I like to say is big enough and small enough at the same time. Small enough in the sense that they're not nationwide. They have a very tight focused area, which is the mid-Atlantic region of the United States. That's like Virginia, Maryland, DC, this area. And what that does is they can focus all their efforts to do what they do best, which is the big part of them. They are an organization that helps families who have children that are dealing with difficult diseases like cancer. And when those families are focusing on the healing of their child, inevitably they will incur financial difficulties. And that's where Golden Fight comes in. They're huge. They're big in this part because they can say that 98% of the money they raise goes to the family. That 2 to 3%, that covers like, that nominal amount goes towards like administrative costs or just the things of running a charity. But a lot of the leadership does this voluntary. They do it on a volunteer basis because they've had family members or friends that have had to deal with this particular circumstance. So if you're interested in checking out a charity, again, we have no financial ties to them, and it's just something that we like to bring to people's awareness. Go check out goldinfight.org. And, they're somebody worthy of just checking out. So let me remove that. And this is where we say goodbye. So that being said, thank you for being with us this Mother's Day. We want to say that we love all the mothers out there. We love what you guys, or what you girls, what you gals, you do for us. Mothers are an important part of all of our lives. We wouldn't be here without them. And thank you so much. Listen to this guy. I'm trying to be sentimental here, and Rick is just giving me grief.
We wouldn't be here without our mothers. No shit, Sherlock.
Okay, yeah. Way to take away from the moment there. So anyway, I want to share this one more time. This is how you can find George, and this is how you can find Vinz. Go support them. Share some, show them some love, and we will see you on another edition of Comics Cast next week. So bye-bye. Take us out, Rick.
Bye.